let's do finance, and we got a little bit of monkeying with it here, what we just
That's
said.
right, I want you to know that you
Finance is on
are the
page-
star of today's video.
Finance is on page 44, 45, and here's the salaries. What I've got in for cost of living is based on the existing contract, which says that, which basically says that I get the larger raise percentage or amount of any employee, except that it's limited to 9.45% unless the county commission decides to pay it more. So that's what's in my mind. If we want to do a comparative, I'll be happy to go back there and show you what the salary survey says as far as finance. Because I've actually surveyed these before besides this, did it before we, what page are we on? So if we go into mine right here, we can kind of, I'll put page 2 and go down finance is the second bullet point. And I'll be happy to tell you my experience, certified public accountant in Tennessee. I have 29 years in March. All but 6 of those are finance director. 6 is actually the legislative auditor of the state, and most of you probably have not seen my resume. So, but to kind of look, the very start medium pays 170 for somebody on the top end medium, based on the ranges 212, 597, and would be next year with the contract at 193.2. So I'm above the medium, but quite a bit below the maximum salary. But it's also the contractual unless you decide to go to where I'm not asking for that.
So you're just asking for the contract.
Which is the 9.5. Unless you guys feel some urge, but you know, I'm not. I see your budget, so I'm not asking you to urge.
Yeah.
If there's money floating, then I would ask, but,
Next year is.
next would be, and I'll be happy to tell you what all these people do, because I'm here. The first one's the senior assistant to finance director's got 10
So I
years.
do want to look at these folks, because we did.
Where are we on the market?
Well, let me tell you right now, that ours aren't strong in the market, and I did not ask for the 6%, I asked for the people most likely to turn over, so some of these probably are. The first one here, if you look at that one, I marked that with Mr. Isabel's person that only has 2 years. When we did the salary survey, they were pretty much equivalent. If we go to the survey for that one, and it won't be shown in.
And can I ask you that one? Are you talking about line 13?
I'm sorry, line 13 first. I'm gonna go down them one at a time if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was going down them one at a time. I just kind of made that assumption without telling you. But if you look on page, well, 2's finance, but if you look at like administrative and executive assistants on page 3, this one would probably most likely align with what I'm looking at as an executive assistant, or would probably be what you most likely align with.
What line item is that?
It would be page 3 going down. If you look, the start pay is 63,882. The medium is 77,507. So
Did you find, look, it's like here.
Okay, I see 63, so median actual, for medium actual, which one? For
The
the
top.
top one, so 78,989?
which page are you on?
I'm on page 3, line item 4.
We're at line item 3, which one of those?
Yeah, BO42.
Oh, I see, yeah, sorry, I was one off. So executive assistant, so 77,507?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
That's what I think.
You're slightly below still on that one?
Which one am I on? I have my old sheet here that has.
Well, line 13 up there, Terry, is what we're looking at.
We're looking at line 13,
Okay.
This
but
one.
I'm
that's
not
what I
sure
think
which
it
one of the,
falls-
are you comparing it to?
I'm sorry, I picked up the wrong. Why is there 2?
And there's a,
What, let me see.
so
here.
median, so you're right at the median, like right at the median.
63,000.
Right, but that's the medium for, this person has 10 years of experience.
So that's a median. Okay, so
So they should be probably slightly above the medium, so that is probably
You're in there, you're a little low.
Well, that was the 2003 number too, and this is 2025, so it's probably a little low what I asked for. Honestly, if we could consider maybe instead of that 3320, maybe 3,500 or more, because I think I actually undermarked that.
I'm not asking for their description of their job, but what's their qualifications? They have a degree?
Right now, they're working on their associate, and their long-term is to get the bachelor's degree, and this one's gonna require a bachelor's degree going forward after they get it. And most of them down through here, and I'll tell you which ones do require degrees currently, all the way to up to a doctorate. One of them does.
I mean, we're talking small amounts here, so I'm good with the will of the body. We keep it here. We're gonna go up to 4,000 either way. I'm agnostic.
Comparing on the internal ones, this one makes lower than all of the internal ones on the same.
So
What was your recommendation?
I would like
bump
to
that, to bump
change
this to
that.
4,000?
Right, just
That's
above.
fine.
I mean, that's fine. We're not talking about a lot.
That's
4,000.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, in the long and short of it, you know, not because I had something to do at the time that David was hired, but the finance director can either make or break a county. I've seen it over and over again. David is an efficient and sharp administrator. His staff is, he hires the very best, manages very well. Personally, I don't have any problem because I think in the long run, we're gonna come out on top.
well, it's
with
our most
everything.
important function as
and
well, is the
if-
money. If we don't have a good team. that
Exactly.
matters.
And if we can reflect back to yesterday's discussion about trying to get our bench stronger in finance, because we have people rolling off in the next several years.
So, we're going down to this, going down, and I don't disagree. I mean, I'm fine with this. Like, so going down to the next one, I mean, I just have to press a little bit, because that's a big bump.
Let me
Not,
tell you my
not saying
reason.
not worth it, just,
Let me tell you where
Gotta
that number
be-
came from. A couple of things played into that one. If you look at the medium pay, it's 102,066. The top's 139,271.
Which page?
I'm sorry, page number 2, the second employee down. That's the number one factor. This one, the number 2 factor, our private act requires a minimum of a bachelor's degree for our assistants, which is not required in several of the counties. If you actually click on that yellow line, I called the most two comparable counties, and one of them's like a 10-year employee, and the other one's a whatever year employee. They were making 133,577 last year and 112,025.
you got a 16-year, 18-year employee.
And, you know, this employee's 18 years here and had another 10 years experience when they came in. That's where I came up with that particular number. And that's just my calculations. You guys don't necessarily have to agree.
How is it that that person with that experience and the comps, how have they?
We've gotten off on time on some employees, just like the ones you've seen down at the judge's office for the magistrates, the county assistant county attorney. There are several. When we did the salary survey the other year, this employee was quite a bit off and adjusted, but we limited the adjustments quite a bit.
It's a big bump. I'm not saying it's, I mean, I see your rationale.
But I
I
mean,
mean, you're talking about somebody who's got 30 years of experience, so median for that type of role is,
This one, you're saying,
139,
139.
Now, if you go to the far right, this is another one for internal consistency that I looked at, and this is what drove it more.
Yeah, I would.
And I'll tell you this is how much currently, go back over, that's currently how much you have on the county engineer. At the last salary survey, this employee and the county engineer are on the same exact level, and the county engineer has 2 years and this one has 17.
Because
And he hired them in that way.
What I was gonna compare it to was the assistant to the law director, which we're at 115 on that one. Now, that person does not have as much overall experience, so that's,
Could we look?
And I don't think they're comparable because I with all due respect to him, to the assistant law director, he's got one job and that's legal. But the assistant finance has got all kinds of jobs and all kinds of hats.
Can we?
Or she. Or she.
It's a she. I have
Well,
one
we all know
under he in
it's
the
a
whole office. And it was between a he and a she, and the he barely beat out the she, and that rarely happens.
What are all the hats she wears?
She does a lot of the management things when I'm not there, fills in when I'm not there, does a lot of the accounting standards, pretty much fills in for a lot of the stuff and assists with 57,000 projects that I pass down that I don't have enough time the way I can handle even more complex ones. If it's something that's not so complex that I feel nobody else would understand, it gets passed down the way I can do those.
Okay, so she's your right-hand gal.
So because we know you guys have to meet a budget, and I'm realistic. Can we just
Can we bring
Make
that
that
to
like-
120?
make that 20 and then reevaluate next year.
I would like to do that. I would like to bring that down. And I'm not saying, again, I'm trying to be even here. I'm saying a similar thing to what I said to Mr. Poss. It's not that this person is not worth it. It's just trying to can't fix everything all at once.
The next one, when I looked at, I felt it was within market, so I did not ask for any funds over the 5%. The next one is the senior analyst for the office, required a bachelor's degree, actually does the munis administrations, doing fixed assets, does a lot of work on your long-term planning, and does some of the work on the revenue sheets that I have on my
That's
house.
fine.
That one's a position, when I pulled the markets about the start pay for that particular position. This one, we actually, because I couldn't find a lot of comparables, I actually pulled it from the private sector somewhat. And that's about probably 10% to 15% below the private sector's charge. So,
I mean, that doesn't seem crazy to me, honestly.
and the employee had experience when they got
So
here.
I want to look at this one. I'm probably for this one because I'm imagining.
Before you jump to that, you compared that with the private sector? This is curiosity more than
I
anything.
discounted 15% because of benefits.
Okay.
I am
You knew you were gonna
realistic.
say that.
That's what I was
You
gonna
knew,
ask.
you knew one.
You
So
know me.
getting down here to this one, I'm probably for this, but I've got a question. It's a leading question.
Dave, I have the same thought as you. If it's not government, that there may be some disparity.
So on this one, has this person picked up some roles because of what's
This
been
is
going on,
two
because of
things.
letting go of the HR department?
But that's one that picked up some, but here's what this particular position does. It does several things. This is the one that does your Chronos implementation. This is the payroll manager. This one also has a 4-year degree, been here for several years, and is managing the payroll department, which has your benefits, has a benefit clerk that does benefits. We have a payroll clerk, an enrollment clerk,
This person's about
and
to
a half a
have,
payroll person besides them, and they do.
this person's about to have a very, very unpleasant.
Oh, they're already working on it.
Yeah.
They did libraries this month, they're working on them, and we did magistrates 2 weeks before.
I
And this
got it.
person also just did the implementation for the ERP Munis payroll system last
And
year.
they're almost working as a junior director. I mean, they've got like 4 or 5 directors.
Well, how
They're
many-
number 3.
How many?
It's me, Beth, and then number 3.
Yeah, so they're-
So when we're both gone, they're the next manager, because we have a
Yeah.
management structure. And then after that, we have a number
So
4
where does that
manager,
net
and
out?
there's none
Where does
management
that
at all.
compare on our,
That would probably be one that would compare.
It would probably be like a junior level of
We-
assistant of the,
We've got a payroll supervisor.
Where's it at, but they do more than that.
It's right in the middle here, and the high would be 96.
yeah, but I'm looking at,
They're
I'm also
doing
looking at
Chronos and this. the benefits.
How many employees does the county, do we pay?
In the county, I think we have about 800, is that correct? 800 to 1,000 with the part-time. It varies between 800 and 1,000, probably closer to like 850 to 1,000.
And we write checks for everybody.
We do direct deposit for everyone. The only way you cannot have direct deposit is somebody stolen your account or your brand new
But
account.
they're also taking up some role of HR, and I'm looking up, you know,
They're doing
HR director,
benefits.
and they're doing benefits. I mean, benefits
They're
manager.
doing benefits
like,
for the
benefits
HR.
manager is at 99,000 and HR
did
is.
we do increases last year?
They're
when
doing
we cut
Chronos.
HR?
This person, no.
That's a big
I
job.
think if we're getting that much out of that person, I think that all of those jobs, I look up the senior level of it, they're all are 100,000.
I'm really concerned that that's a potential turnover position if we don't do some, because they're highly trained in
I'm
Chronos.
good. I'm honest. I know that's a
I'm
big
good
jump,
with
but
it.
I'm good with
Basically,
this
I
one.
spent the time and money, and your all's money, my time here. We've trained this person quite a bit up. If we don't do something,
We
somebody's gonna take him.
we removed last year probably $150,000 of total cost, and this team has picked it up. So I mean, I'm good with it. But I mean, do these folks?
Let's
see
talk
the
about the purchasing one. Let's talk about that.
Well,
All the work's gonna go back to this person to implement.
they're not gonna. So these people aren't gonna pick. I mean, we're
Well,
trying to
we
take
have
care
a-
of the worker bees here.
We have a benefits clerk doing the benefits, so, but I do wanna look at the 2 accounts payable employees, because I think you'll
All
see
right.
them. But let me tell you about the other one, the raise there, and I'll tell you what that is and what I'm asking for. If you look here, it's like $113,000 a year for your purchasing average start. I forget where it's at, it's way down in here. Purchasing 106 to 131. This is the purchasing person. I manage the department, so I would not consider them a purchasing department. But we're also getting ready to bring over highway. So what I've done right now, I just lost my AP manager, so I'm actually moving this person to AP manager, but they're also going to be over the purchasing now because our office keeps growing and it's getting more and more.
You're combining a position at this point, just bumping it.
I'm taking this person with more duties and being in charge, and the other position they're doing, I'm gonna hire somebody else to do it, but they're gonna take more of the responsibility for it. Because right now, I'm spending too much time with purchasing issues, and I really can't get some other stuff done when I need to at this point. So we really need to put it back, plus we're gonna pull over the highway purchasing, so they're going to have a 1, 2, 3 full-time that's gonna answer to them and 1 half-time.
And you do understand why purchasing's coming from highway, that's back to the private act.
Yes, correct.
Plus, it's the most efficient, and no other county this size is doing it the way we're doing it right now, and that's why you're having issues. It makes it hard on Toby. Toby's just not used to it, it's actually hard on him too.
Yeah.
It creates him additional problems, but it needs to be moved, no other county this size does it this
You
way.
enforce the law.
And we need to, if I can step further out, we need to start, like, as a county, we're also not, once we get purchasing centralized more, a lot of counties have a purchasing piece in their committee structure. Sometimes they have it in financial management, and they're actually looking at purchase orders. I just have all kinds of free time. I've read through purchasing orders and RFPs. We really do need to look there because there's a lot of stuff in there that y'all would be like, wow. So once we're centralized, we need to put some controls in place because there's lots of money there.
We this past year, we bid a big portion of Toby's bids because it contained ARPA, he just handed them all to us. We bid them, went really smooth. The only hiccup we ran into is there's a vendor that just didn't bid, but had nothing to do with us, which caused Toby some issues. But otherwise, it went through quite smoothly on that portion. I think Toby's just nervous because it's never been done that way before. Because he's not trying to be difficult, he's just, I guess, cautious, nervous.
So I want to come back to these benefits, folks. They're not, I mean, given what we just said about the payroll manager, because these guys aren't going to pick up any, I mean, if they picked
Let
up
me
nothing.
kind of talk to you about what we ran into and then kind of give you, we have one payroll clerk that's been there, the other two are relatively new because, not to be mean, but when we had HR, I had benefit clerks turning over like, I lost more people in 1 year than I lost other 15 years in the same position because there was so much difficulty and I had to keep getting involved.
Okay.
Let's put it that way, it was an issue.
Take care of that issue.
And I'm just saying right now, that those people are relatively new. I think they're pretty much based on their years of service to market.
That they're on market. All right.
Now, the only two
That's
I am,
fine.
if you look at the two up there at 38, that is your AP clerks. Don't know, those right there during the year, because they've been here for not very long. If you look at 2080 and 1050, when I hire somebody, if you give me a budget of whatever, I'm probably gonna hire somebody in for $1 less if I can find anybody. And then if you're working where after 6
And
months.
these
you
folks,
know-
are these folks, you worried about retention at all?
Yes, that's the two I'm worried about.
You are worried about these two, so.
I would, if we can, and I know your budget's limited, if we could look at 500 or 1,000.
I was gonna say,
on those
well, we
folks.
took some from your top level position. I'd be fine with 1,000 on each of these.
Because they're my lowest paid people, and
Help us with the financial.
they don't require as much training and stuff as the other ones, but still, if we don't stay toward them in
I'm
ways,
fine
we're
with
gonna
that.
lose them, I'm afraid.
We still have overall cut your budget from what you requested.
Well, let's go back to the benefits clerks. Are you worried about that?
This one.
I just
Yeah.
asked. He said-
Which one is
He said
that?
no.
Was that Amy?
Yeah.
Amy is probably your most likely, she has a bachelor's degree. The problem is mine, I have probably 60% of my employees, Beth, or 50, have bachelor's degrees, and I have one with a doctorate. So mine are quite a pretty well-trained group, and without the bachelor's degrees, it takes a lot of training and issues, because they gotta understand accounting and various things, or
Yeah.
training somebody from the ground up is really difficult. So she does have a degree, a 4-year degree, and I believe, is it finance?
Yes.
All right.
Well, Terry was just pointing out that there are people on the road crew,
Well, maintenance.
or it's maintenance, that are making, is it more?
We're gonna bring them up to more.
Here's mine. This
I
is
don't
mine.
wanna lose
I
any of
don't- I'm
your
not
good
saying-
people.
No, I mean, I asked
We-
about them too.
Yeah,
They're-
I know, and David don't wanna take the money.
Can we just take 1,000, can we give that one 1,000, it is a possible,
Or what we could do is just do 500, 500, 500, 500, if we wanna do that. Would that be, or were you worried?
if I would probably rather do 500, 500, and 1,000 if we did that way, because honestly.
Okay, do it.
All right.
And I'm not saying anything disparaging about any of my people, but it takes more training on some than the other.
That's
They're
fine.
all good people, they would not be here.
Do performance-based and role-based stuff. I get it.
Oh, is that what, oh, I thought we were, no, I think we were talking about putting it down there. Or, is that what we were talking about?
He wanted to do it like.
Is it like this?
Like that.
Okay.
Oh,
Because I'm weighing on two things, the amount of time it takes to train people, replace them, and likelihood of leaving.
All right.
got it.
Okay, is this it? Oh, we need to talk about so we need to talk about what we had mentioned earlier, which was,
Moving.
Do you wanna go ahead and get the key real quick and come back?
yeah,
Yes.
that's gonna be a discussion. That's gonna be a discussion.
So, let's see, Judge is on page,
48, 49, I think.
yeah, 49.
Oh,
And then we got her salary on
First person who
the
came in and she said, y'all can go to this page.
She's probably already read her budget,
Quite a bit, actually.
and she's on page, and that's the salaries
So I
and,
want everybody to note that Ms. McCormick, Judge McCormick is gonna be briefing us something that's a little bit different here because we're just slightly late, not calling you out, but that meant that we used last year's numbers, and so there's gonna be a little bit of discrepancy on what you're presenting.
and we put CPI on it, so we do last year's CPI.
Yes. Okay, so I own it, that I was partying getting my in. But essentially, I'm really not asking for much besides, and excuse my speech, I just had to have oral surgery at lunch. Fun lunch.
And now you're here.
And now I'm here.
Woo,
because
is it your birthday?
I know,
What a
right?
day.
Now I'm here playing, and my birthday was 3 days ago, so real close.
I thought I saw
So
that.
now I get to play here with the cool kids. So, essentially, the only thing in my budget aside from salary, the one thing from a salary perspective that I am asking for is $2,500 each for my staff. My particular staff was the staff I inherited from Judge Carter. One of them have been there since the inception of that court in 2015, and the other has been there since 2019. The $2,500 request puts them consistent with courtroom A or Division I. Essentially, as you know, we do the same job, we just divide us on alphabet. So I have the lower half of the alphabet, Judge Blaine has the beginning of the alphabet.
So if I go to court, I'm coming here.
You coming here and you going down.
Is it for 5 letter? What are you gonna do?
What now?
Like, is it 5
L,
letter?
I have L through
It's
Z.
on the record.
Yes, I have L through Z. So all of you, L through Z, you come to me. Okay, so essentially, that's basically the difference in our courts, but they're identical, subject matters, days, everything else is identical. So that was the only request. I did ask for a few small things, which I think were consistent with what was requested. Our dues for general sessions went up on February the 28th. We were at our conference. So our dues went up at that point, so I think I've asked for like $400 of an increase in dues for that. The other thing I asked for was software. My assistants have to share a computer because of software, so they literally, one person gets up, the other person sits down. So I just need a little bit, I've asked for $500 for software. Let's see, the only other thing is the computer in our courtroom is extremely slow. So I've asked for $1,000 for a new computer for the courtroom. It slows us down on a daily basis, waiting for simple things. We've had people look at it, but it's still slow. So that's essentially it. Before the $2,500, my requested amount was 5%, 5.97%.
The travel is
Oh, yes.
300
300
more.
for travel.
Is that just gasoline or what?
It's conferences. Essentially, we go to 3 conferences a year, and usually the travel. I think actually Judge Blanton asked for significantly more under his travel line. But I also have mental health court, and so often we are traveling to other courts for those. So basically, we just ask for travel.
Okay.
Do you have some notes so that as we're considering your budget, so that we can, your ask, so that we can have what you're requesting here, because it's a little different than what's in there? Do you have-
I think
It's actually identical what's in there, the only thing that's not in there is the salary.
I think
Can we
apparently.
check that in right now?
Yeah, just, can we just?
Can we just put that
Do
in?
you have it in there?
It's in.
Is it in now?
It's in? Okay.
I think
So-
the information that's not gonna pass to Jessica on salary.
So,
Or
it
supposed
is,
to be last year.
I just wanna make sure that that I understand that she's getting what she wants.
Yeah, that's.
It was in
Can-
there.
Was it? Okay.
It was in
Okay.
there. The only thing wasn't in there was the salary.
Yeah, so I just.
And
wanna
we
make sure
put
the
it in.
salaries are in.
Mhm.
So are the salaries in? Can we go and look? Let's go ahead and just do it real quick so that we're considering.
See, I don't see the
Yeah, can
additional.
you add those? So you're asking for 25?
2,500 there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you
Yeah,
to
that's what I
do.
want to see.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. All righty. Now, we still have to discuss that.
Oh, I
Where-
know.
Where we want it to be, at least start from there.
I totally understand. Any questions?
Any questions for Judge McCormick?
You said you listened to cases with that first name or last name?
Last name.
Yes, I did, in your court.
You're in there too.
I'm missing by one letter.
You're in there too.
Yeah.
I'm in there too.
You're in there too.
If it's
You're
first
in there
name,
too.
first name, probably the other one's good.
So, and Judge Layton and I
Send it
both
to
say
table.
that we're not gonna let anybody be the villain or victor based on their last name, so we try to stay consistent.
So I guess is the general sessions courts based on that first and last name too, since?
Just last name, so, yeah,
mean,
pretty
but-
much, yes,
Yeah.
pretty
Judges
much.
do, I guess.
Pretty close, yes.
Can we
So
get
I have
the protocol for the new courtroom? Is it gonna be like the old, if we come, we should sit in the jury box, so
I
we don't,
would
we're not, you
recommend that, so
know?
people aren't, so to cut down the rumor mill on.
Yeah. Do y'all know that? You get to sit in the jury box.
We're gonna sample,
What do you mean?
we're gonna sample this and bring
So
it to.
I go to court,
Several
because I got a
of
lot
you-
of time. I go to court and people think I'm there because,
So
and they look at me.
several of you have visited, and we offer
Or
for
you
you
say
to
don't be
visit all
sitting
the
in the general
time.
population?
Right, go sit in the
Right, so
jury.
I always try to put you in the jury
Oh, I'll
box
go into the-
to reduce the
No.
rumor mill that.
Yeah, oh, it's-
Did you see
That's
Jared
gonna
White was
take
in
a
court?
long
I
Oh,
saw
I'm
her
gonna
in
sit
there.
right there.
So I always bring y'all to the jury box to try to reduce the rumor mill
Let's go
of,
sit in the judge,
Especially
create
on-
some rumors.
especially on certain days. I was gonna say, yeah, you can go and sit in there and create some rumors for sure.
yeah.
So,
I just checking.
yeah, feel free, come on, I still got a designated
Now I
area
want
for
it,
you.
now. All right, any other questions for Mr. or Judge McCormick?
All right, thanks guys for all that you do.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am. Okay, let's get back to finance here and continue.
Oh, now we gotta find another page again.
I don't think what's that? Yeah, we are done.
We're back to-
But I think we had a good break earlier. I think we can continue
Yeah.
to mush a little bit.
Let's do, so what we were talking about was this project management role. The right way to do this, in my opinion, is to do the space before the face. So we've said we need a type of role, and we put that type of role in there. And if that's the person we have now, great, otherwise, we'll figure that out. But I think that role, what we said earlier, was that it sounded to me like there are two roles. There is a project management role, and there is a grant writer role, and that these are separate things. Is that what I heard? I know, David, you said that. Did the group agree with this?
I think, I think we could take the one person and if it grows, we can grow them next year into two people. Split the baby.
One thing I could possibly do is we have Dustin.
Right.
Dustin right now is doing opioid, and it's going to slow down. Dustin, I've been training on I've had him work on one or two projects right now. And Dustin's very interested in doing and learning things.
Oh.
He's the one that does the opioid. He's capable because he's got a doctorate, so that was one thing I looked at. He understands statistical and he does studies. That's one thing that got him the job. He could do some, in addition to the opioid, some of the grant accounting and some of the stuff to pop in that
Yeah, 'cause
direction.
he's a grant writer.
So you're saying he takes the grant, all of the grant?
No, portions, because I don't think he'll have enough time, because he's probably gonna spend half.
So if we have, will he take on project?
If you're doing the other one, then what I think, if you're not gonna put a third person, the easiest thing to do is to do what we can out of Dustin, what we can out of the other person, and then the project manager, basically, that other person does both.
So
too.
you are talking about adding a person?
Not if you're talking about moving a person. If you're
Yeah, well, I'm
about-
talking, so what we've said is we're moving, the current grant writer position, Ken Norfleet, I'm trying to, again, not say people.
what I'd recommend if we do that is we make her, say, right now she's probably 50/50, make her 75% projects, 25% grants.
And then
make him.
gradually shift more
Make
grants.
him 50/50 with the opioid if possible. And then 50% doing grant accounting, others, and 50% opioid, at least 50.
And so
because-
for now, he would be paid for totally by the opioid grant?
Mhm.
But he would
Yes,
still-
well, this is the unrestricted opioid money, so you can leave him in there. The unrestricted opioid money's been given to the county for stuff they lost in the past, which that
So
revenue could be used.
I am
for-
fine with this, with one exception, and that is that opioid, when we run afoul of anything, say, the whole problem we had with other departments was that if we say, hey, we're taking opioid funding, and they said, okay, that's great, I'm gonna put a person in here to do opioid stuff, but I'm actually gonna take over, and that person's gonna end up doing administrative work for the jail. I don't wanna be doing that.
We discussed that from the beginning if they had extra time, so that's why I'm saying their number one priority is going to have to be opioid. So if it ends up and Dustin comes and say, hey, I'm not getting to concentrate on opioid, he's going back to opioids.
So,
And we may have to
so
come
as
back
to
in
not
and
run
reset.
But
afoul of
when
that,
you-
I would argue that we would need to pay him partly out of county funds, and we would need to supplement, like either reduce some that's coming out of opioid, or if we say, yeah, there is that much work, but we're gonna extend his work, we need to pay him some, that way we're truly paying him for the work that he's doing for the county.
Let's just say 75/25, 75% opioid, 25% county.
I think that would be smart.
And he spends at least 25% on county at that point, and if he ends up having issues because of timing, then we'll come back to the
I like
board.
But I think that when he's
Either way.
helping the county, to say why I went along with this, is he is helping opioid at the same time he's helping county. Because when he's over here in the veterans office, he's helping both opiate problems, drug problems, and our veterans.
No, I
So, and so he,
understand.
when he helps, he's lifting it all.
I understand, I totally
Yeah,
get it.
that- I just wanted to-
From like an auditor point of view, you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and, well, I just wanna let you know why I went along with this 6 months ago, or 8 months ago,
No, I get
and
it.
said like 100%, because I could see the lift all over the
That's fine.
place.
I think doing 75/25, so what we'll do is we will come up with whatever his salary is, and then we're gonna need to layer that in.
It's down here, and we can show you right now.
All right, and then we're gonna have to eat that from the county's point of view.
And that's something we didn't mention earlier. I did ask to pay him $15.59 more in addition, but it is because he has a CCFO, and I pay people to get that. What a CCFO is, it's a certification for accounting from the state that you can get, and if somebody's got those in the past, I've always paid them $1,500.
So right here, we need to pay him probably
Get some more money.
23,000 out of that.
But that's a CCFO. We'll just make a note, and we'll do the split later, because it's gonna be hard to do.
Oh, yeah, okay, I get it, but you get where.
Because right now it folds into a project, and we'll have to do.
And then we're gonna need to add, a line for, grant writer, Ms. Norfleet, and then line her into here, right? I mean, that's.
Line in, line her out.
Now, is she going to report to him,
I would say.
or is he gonna
no.
report to her?
I would say she probably end up reporting to him if we're gonna do it that way.
It's up to you, it's your org, we're doing something new.
Probably what I'm gonna do, since they're gonna be working grants together, I'll probably have her reporting to him,
Okay,
because he's actually got a doctorate.
all right.
And so-
Okay. These people are gonna take care of maintenance, facilities, and all that kind of stuff?
No,
What do you mean?
well, that's
Is
part
that
of
what we're
what.
talking about?
No, no,
Well, I mean,
Basically, what we're talking about is like the grants, and then when
we'll
there's,
understand that.
there's a project coming in, somebody needs to account for those grants and be able to report back.
But there's
to
also,
everybody
but there
else.
is, but we're talking about the project management, I'm not talking about the maintenance stuff, I'm talking about the project management function, like, there's a building, we're bringing a building on board, or we're doing a new roof.
That's what she's doing right
Well, now-
now.
Them doing that?
Yes, this role is gonna be part-time doing that. Because we're taking off some of the ideas, we're taking
Yeah, I
off
know,
some of her
but-
grant writing.
But what engineering or,
Not unless it's with a new person.
Well, they're not engineering, they're not saying
yeah, I know
it's
that.
project
That's what
management.
I'm
But you can
saying.
be a
We need to
project-
have somebody
you
with
can
that
be-
knowledge.
But you can be a project manager without being an engineer.
Depends on the consultants you hire.
I just.
I mean, yeah, if you've got a competent, just general project manager, you can, project manager, if they're sharp. You can project manage in technical world and then come over and do a roof. I mean, I realize there's some learning curve,
There's a
but,
big learning.
The big thing we're running into right now is what's,
yeah.
one thing we have to think about, if it's a large project,
That's it.
the way it's supposed to work.
Manage cost scope.
And that's why the laws are that way. Large projects at the county. you're required to hire an architect or engineer. The architect and engineer are supposed to design it and work up cost estimates according, and the design. The architect and engineer are supposed to sign off the work is done. The final acceptance is the thing I've got a question about. The architect's gonna accept it to that specs, but I've never been clear who in the county's gonna accept the building.
And for big
Is it
stuff,
gonna be, because it's really gonna have to be probably the mayor saying that building's fine.
and for big stuff though, well, and that's why there is an argument that belongs, this is why this one's hard. There is an argument that belongs under the county mayor too. I don't think it makes sense to be, my opinion is, I think Josh Sutton is one of the most competent people you'll ever meet. I did not think that this ever belonged in his office. It either belonged in the county mayor or belonged in finance. We chose to go with finance, that's fine.
What I'm saying is the architect or engineer will sign off the building meets the specs that we designed and stuff, but ultimately, he's gonna have to say, I agree with that architect, needs to be the mayor in some form or fashion.
And
He's the custodian, the daily custodian of the buildings and stuff. So in other words, just think about what it should work.
There's no perfect solution here.
We build, well, I
Exactly.
mean, most of it, finance is fine on it, because here's where you're gonna end up with. You guys decide you want a building that runs through Gen Ops, mayor, whoever designs it comes up with the specs, correct? We go out and hire an architect or engineer, which is required by statute anyway. Based on what you request, the architect or engineer designs those and returns those designs. From those designs, it is bid, a sealed bid. The sealed bid comes back. Before we make payment, what our people upstairs require anyway is they sign the architectural report where he signs the work to be done. The
No,
que-
I get it, and I don't wanna go too much, but I realize we are starting to micromanage here. I just wanna make, because we're doing a bit of a move, I just wanna make sure that Ms. Norfleet knows that the scope for responsibility is going to truly be more heavy on the project management side. And really, you made this comment, right, like, if she's really gonna be running a lot of your subs, like a lot of your contractors and your consultants and that type of people, they should be reporting into her. She should be providing a consolidated report to your department and us, and you. And that's what we're trying to get at here. We just want to make it very, very clear that this org change is grant writing. It is a little mini PMO that's gonna sit under finance, which is weird, but we're trying to figure one out.
Well, and the big projects, you have to hire.
You have to, but
You have
she's-
to hire
but she's-
somebody
she's
else.
gonna
An
be
architect or
running.
an engineer.
She's gonna be running.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
gonna
they
be
would
like-
answer to her.
Yeah, every week, she takes the weekly report, and then she would give that to us in a monthly, or QBR type thing.
Right.
So, okay.
I'd like to make a suggestion that we add this month to Jeremy's legislative committee. I think it would be appropriate that we recognize this position to be one of liaison with general operations. I do not want this to get outside the control of this commission, and that we make it plain that this is a liaison position to general operations, who will have final disposition on matters, decisions and matters.
I mean, to me, it should be his chief briefer is who.
Well, I think we all agree with that.
I think
it's
if
just-
Jeremy writes up something, he can,
Yeah.
we can, keep it where it needs to be.
It's just that we need it to fall under a permanent org.
Yeah.
So it's either one of these two.
Here's the only one piece you got back here. We'll have the architect signing off on the final as acceptance on the big buildings. Whoever, when Ms. Norfleet reports back, say to Gen Ops, she'll bring the architectural report we're getting ready to pay, for instance. Is somebody from Gen Ops, mayor, who's gonna go out and look at the actual building and say, hey, I'm agreeing to that architect? Who's gonna do that? Or do we just want Ms. Norfleet to do that and then come back to Gen Ops and say, hey, I agree with what this architect's saying? Even though the architect is signing off and everything, we still probably want a county representative to look at the physical product.
I'll be happy to do it, but I think the mayor should as well. It's a good,
We're getting into some weeds.
That's my only thing, is there needs to be a
We're
sign
just
off.
talking about the line item.
So let's-
You guys are way out of the
We're way out of the
scope.
scope.
We are.
We're never gonna get back to budget.
So let's.
So, but a little bit further on this, right now in planning, we have the grant administrator at 92.3. I'm just saying salary. I'm just moving us along to where, what
Yeah,
else?
they're gonna rework that because we're gonna do 1/4 from the county, but most of that's all coming from the opioid grant.
No, I meant Miss Norfleet.
There's a bigger position.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, are we just gonna?
Where is that in market?
It's gonna be,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, where is that in market?
A6.
We're
Oh,
not-
I'm sorry.
We're looking in the,
So I mean, we're looking for a project management type.
you need another sheet.
No, right now we're
Well,
at
because
grant administrator.
Well, right, but what we're saying is this is a part-time project manager, she's 50/50. So if we can,
She's been here for a while, so let's see where it falls at risk. She does
You're
have a
still looking
master's
really good.
degree, an MBA.
I mean, there's a senior staff engineer, which is kind of, sort of, I don't see a true project management. The closest, I see a senior staff engineer, which is median is 99,000. That's one that appears to be close to me, or close
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
to you.
Why are we in engineering?
Well,
I don't see it through project manager. Are we good with that one, using the senior engineer? She's not an engineer, but it's kind of close. So that's 99,000 is median.
She's been here probably about
Almost 14.
almost 14.
So she.
So
we're-
right now, she's at 83,000, and we're bumping her up to
Well,
92
that's-
on the schedule that
then
she's
that's-
on.
That's probably.
Maybe we just bring her over.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Let's just bring her over. So we'll do what's asked, but bring her over. She was, I mean, because she's not exactly an engineer either, so,
No,
and she's
no.
50/50 project management and part grant writing, and grant
Right.
writing is to be cheaper.
Right.
So, I think that's about
I
right.
think that's fair.
Will we bring her over? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing that I mentioned earlier, and haven't mentioned it again, do you guys want to look? We're trying to use this in the 2020 survey. Do you want to get an actual survey done to see where we're at?
I've stated my opinions.
And I don't know the amount, I put that amount up there for the Coronas, but we could add another line and stick in, since you're updating one and you're just wanting it for kind of these purposes, it's probably not gonna be, I'm guessing, maybe $20,000, because we've already done one 2 years ago. It cost, what at the time, was it 50, is that about right? But we done a bunch of job descriptions too, which we
So-
emailed to Mr. Boyd.
Are we,
Who are we on now?
We emailed those to you. I can give you.
so are we closed out on you? Are you,
What do you want to do, the question was, do you want to do a salary survey or not?
how much was it?
It cost us
This is.
50 to do all of the actual salary survey in 22 and job
I feel like
description.
this has been a very good rubric. We're not gonna always do a market reset. We did a market reset this year. From this point going forward, we should just be able to do COLA.
I don't
Maybe
know,
not
that's all
forever.
I've heard for every 2 months. There's been a new department back saying they need a market reset, market reset.
But we never did it. The first time we did it was, we've never done a market reset with,
Oh.
not this last, we do with the sheriff, but that was midway through. Now
October.
we're doing a true market reset. Like, this commission has never done one.
What kind of time does it take, David?
I don't know, since we're not doing a whole new survey, I'll just contact them and ask them, and, what we'll have to do is we'll just send them our salary files, and they'll probably send out an email to everybody asking for changes in their.
I'm against doing it. I'm
Department
against doing a
changes
whole
on
new
people.
one.
Here's the thing, this budget doesn't have to be finished till August. He's got plenty of time to get us a number.
Well, we'll contact them and get them in the budget.
Yeah.
And I don't know they'll get it done that quick.
Yeah,
So-
August, what do
So
you
I
think?
think, do we need to take a vote on it? Who's
I don't know if
for
we're
it?
gonna do
Who's
it that
for?
quick.
I'm for him
She's
finding out what it'll cost and what kind
All
of
right,
time
then
it
that's
takes.
what we'll go. So
I'll
nothing for
email,
now. Nothing
make a
for
note
now.
to email Beth,
Thompson.
Thompson, because she's the one they're the one that did our salary survey, and they're the one that done all this here.
All right. So, what do we want to pick off next? I think we green this one out. So we wanna do planning and engineering?
Yes.
Let's do planning and engineering.
No.
Sorry, I'm not just walking around.
I was just gonna, I'm not for adding any new positions.
What's
Page 38.
New positions,
I'm not.
too.
To planning, and I mean,
They got a big bump last year.
They
they
did,
did,
but
they've
that's
asked for
pretty
several
good.
positions, didn't use them, and switched it around to create huge salary bump increases, and so I'm good with just 5% COLA. I think that we need to
Of
stay.
all of the departments last year that we really gave a bump to, it was planning. I
Yeah.
agree with
And then we
Jeremy on
switch
this one.
things around.
And you increase the fees as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
I
citizens.
think, I'm good with 5% COLA on this one. And if you look at his market, he's at or above market in most places. Love Josh, but I mean, I've gotta apply the right rubric here.
Yeah, I say 5%, let's move on.
I agree. Anybody?
But not the new position.
Yep, I agree, cut the new positions. Terry?
I was
Betsy?
just making sure that I was catching them all. I'm sorry.
No, we're just, I mean, I don't want two of us to, just because we agree to dictate the whole thing, and I know you'll
You
tell us
mean
no.
because I didn't speak, you knew I was doing something?
All right,
Dictator.
so how much did we save on that one? Couple $100,000, I think.
So I just want to look at where we're at.
Now, the
All right.
grant administrator's one we're moving, that's why, and then also,
So, yeah.
it didn't get the bump last year neither. He bumped everybody but that one.
But which one?
The grant administrator wasn't bumped last year.
Why not?
He
Okay.
bumped everybody else in there, I don't know. Have to ask
But I mean,
you.
Maybe it's in
she's-
transition or something.
I mean, but we just looked, I mean,
Yeah.
we're taking care,
So-
we're not taking care of them, we're taking care of her.
And then the assistant county planner position there. I can't remember.
That's
We
the one you
lowered-
added.
He just hired them, but he hired them at a lower rate than what was budgeted. Cause they were budgeted at 100, and he
Don't
hired them
think-
at 92.5.
Then I think we
Oh, I
may
see.
wanna ask Josh, he may hire people in lower, saying if 6 months things go well, I'll bring it back to budget.
That's fine.
You may wanna ask him that before we do.
Yeah.
Is that something fine to ask him?
Yeah, please ask him that, and he'll come back, he'll come back. Yeah,
They
just
have
ask him.
promised a possible 6-month raise.
So, can we green this one? Does he have any capital? He doesn't have any capital. He got a truck.
No, but do you wanna look at his operational?
Yeah, I keep forgetting operational.
And it's on
He
page
doesn't have a
number-
truck?
He does.
He
have-
didn't
He didn't ask for it.
He
I'm saying
didn't
he
ask.
for
I
it.
sent you that big as what it is last night.
Okay.
It's on top of all this other 700.
I'm losing my mind.
Um,
We're on page 38 probably.
Most of them say,
I'm just looking for different.
most of them say school
What's
vouchers and
that?
library.
Scroll down,
It's operational.
What's that 25%? That's not a big deal. 150. This is, what's up with that? With the
That is your
50,000?
MS4 when they go out and they pay somebody to look at the stream and the runoff, they're required to
What
do
page are
it.
we on?
39,
Um,
39.
And he mentioned something that it was going up and they had to do more of it to make sure they stay in compliance with that TDEC fee, but they outsourced that.
Can we just ask him about it? I won't cut it, but.
Do you want to make it, like, Jessica, can you make a note, send him an email for additional details? Send
And
us
we,
additional details.
by the way, John, you gave me some information on that. You won't let me forget. Was it, IT, who was it that we had suggested cutting back to a previous?
Oh, that's on the Windows program.
Okay,
We
yeah,
won't-
yeah.
We won't need to do that till next week.
Okay, got it. Go ahead. Is there anything else? I don't see anything else that jumps out at me on this one.
MS4.
Other contract.
No, that's all like some little small potato stuff. Okay. So we good to green this one? All right, let's green this one. What do we want to do next?
You didn't look at county buildings operations.
We didn't look at operational.
Oh, yeah, let's finish
Well, I did like
But
5
we do need
times,
to
and y'all had to
remember
bring
the
it
mayor has
back.
the brand new large
That's what
courthouse.
we were on there.
I know, I just kept going there.
Booths there.
Now I
and,
can't find it.
How are we gonna pay for that?
Most of it's over 112.
County building.
I think we go back 112 there.
What's that?
Most of your big increases that way over 112.
Yeah, it was all,
The maintenance and all that was.
Is 112. So it's 112, we'll need to look at it too, but it's way
I
up.
think the only thing that really went up
Why
was
does the
utilities
electric
and
bills all go to the
associated
mayor's
costs.
office instead of going to AP?
And there's a maintenance agreement, we had to rebid all those. I'm sorry, it's on page
I
number.
know, like, can we talk, is it okay if I talk about like, okay, I didn't know that was, I'm gonna send more work elsewhere.
He is on page number 40. And you've already looked at his salary stuff. I think-
So we talked about, again, the electricity, that we were gonna push it out to the actual departments.
You did jail last year, I know that some are still in here.
Yes, so can we pull those, can we just make a note to move those around?
Yes, we'll try to, can you have, not today, Beth, but can you just send one to, AP and see if they can just gather up those by location?
And then physically, can we talk about electricity, unless the mayor just enjoys doing the electric bill? I don't understand why the electric bill doesn't go to AP clerks.
Generally, you want some kind of sign off, somebody making sure there's not variances. Back when we were doing it, back at Green, years ago, it did directly go to finance, and we watched for that stuff, that basically they just told us it was go ahead and approve unless there was something weird going on.
Well, that's between
It's
the
just
two of
what's
y'all.
been
It's-
done
Finance.
forever, it's just what's been done forever.
You don't mind if I take work out of your office, do you?
No, you
I'm
can
just-
do all the finance.
Other than coding.
I just like
that
centralizing.
Create a lot to us, I mean,
No, I think it's a great idea.
I mean, it seems what AP should do.
well, we're trying to think, would it really create a lot of work for us other than that little bit of coding? We just keep the pre-assigned sheets.
I mean, y'all can keep, I just
We'll
find it
see.
odd.
I mean,
They're
if John's fine,
Pretty
we'll look at
swamped
it.
right now.
Yeah,
Y'all are
let's
swamped
just.
later.
Yeah, let's leave this one. This
Can we
is-
try to
got-
maybe
we're
look
doing
at
a lot
that
of
with
moving parts right
John?
now. Let's-
Maybe we can look with the mayor's office next year.
Yeah, whenever
about
you
this.
look at,
I'm just curious because it was a big jump. It looks like it jumped last year on disposal fees. Went from 317, 789 to. looks like
Courthouse?
But-
That's why we pay for these.
But
garbage
last year, a lot of these were paid out of the 112 fund.
sheets. We moved
And
over.
this year, it's only courthouse and jail maintenance is paid out of 112.
Right, because the thing was, there was the big question about the courthouse and jail maintenance fund. It has a dedicated fee and some you can use for any buildings. Well, I think the committee and the
We
mayor
forgot
determined
to
probably
pay the
best to
electric
pay
bill
courthouse
one
and
month.
jail, out of courthouse and jail,
While
and everything
back.
else out of general, so that's
Got
why there's
confused
this big
down
jump
the
and a lot of stuff last year.
Decided that last year.
Yeah, it was last year, that's why there's all these big jumps. And the mayor concurred, he thought that was probably the best thing to do.
All right, we're good on this one? Okay, we can bring this one. Let's see here.
You need to look at 112 fund really quick if you're fine with it.
Okay, that's fine.
We can prove that out. It's balanced, looking good. It's where he pays for all the courthouse and jail maintenance. It's much larger, but there's, that brand new large courthouse, so it's definitely gonna kick up its cost.
So anything that says 112.
We'll get a better handle.
No, it's gone out of here now. That's old stuff. It's up here on this whole fund now.
David,
We don't have any data processing services that we pay out of 112.
That probably needs to be pulled out. That's an old account, John. We don't do that anymore. That data processing was needed removed.
That's not so.
David, is there any way of breaking out for us, or at least me, I'd like to know the cost of electricity, water, other utilities for that new courthouse,
Yeah.
and
Yes. We cover
any
by
other
location.
kind of extra expense that we have. I would love to have that breakout.
We code, and you can't see it on our financials unless we print it that way, and you can't see it here, but we code all utilities and as many costs as we can by individual location. So we have it by department, by location, so like even if it was an EMS station out there, it has a location assigned to it, and we code them in. So anytime you want something, like, just send an email or let Miss Jessica know, and we can print your report by location, and it'll show that.
and
kind of
then
detail.
and back to electricity, because I'd forgotten a while back, I looked at electricity, we had electricity bill from the building, children or people building.
That's when I brought it.
And yeah, so I'm just wondering overall, who's watching the electric bill? We have a lot of buildings out there that nobody sits in. and I don't want a window open and the heat on. I just wanna make sure somebody does,
If we-
somebody says,
We
hey.
own that, it was a nonprofit using, but we own the
Yeah,
building.
we did.
Our people knows if a new building popped up, they would be watching for it. And so
Yeah, I'm just
so
saying who
people.
does.
Well, his people watching, and it gets watched by ours too, so it really gets, that's one thing, if you take it from not going through the mayor's office, it won't be looked at twice. That's what's really going on right now, so you really have a lot of checks on a lot of this stuff. You know, as you're saying, it may be more efficient, but you are gonna remove a few checks and balances doing
Yeah.
that. Because his folks look for new stuff coming in and variances, our folks look for stuff coming in and variances, so it kind of doubles up to make sure there's nothing.
And the only reason that I'm even talking about it is because I saw the electric bill at the nonprofit, at the children or people too, and there was nobody there. And then I know we forgot to pay the electric bill once, I think, but that was just a
They were
mistake.
switching, they didn't
Yeah,
send
yeah,
to
so
us.
it was just a
And we inquired on
I
why
was
we
just,
forgot, yeah.
that's the only reason I was asking about.
But we sent an
process.
inquiry back to them,
So-
and that why it wasn't paid.
Are we good on this one?
Yeah.
To jail.
So we can agree on this one. So let's do, so we just did planning. Let's do building and codes.
Now, building and codes, the first thing we need to discuss, do you want me to go ahead and put in the revenue that will be captured by changing from the 4 to 6? It's about probably about,
Yeah.
but this,
Yeah.
if you think you're really going up 50%, but it doesn't, some things aren't, because I've asked Marshall this morning, some things like pools under a certain dollar level won't be captured. So I think you're safe, we have to put 130%.
I was gonna say, give it a haircut. but
30%,
yeah, that's
30%
fine.
increase. So if we go to my revenue projections based for next year and make it 130%, and then make a big note, because I'll freak out when I see it later. It'll look out of place, and I'll be like, even before I look, not there, but on the actual budget bit. Yeah, don't leave the link, just change it on the actual budget and then make a note. These are linked back to revenue sheet, that's why if it's got a broken link, it'll catch my attention.
So you're gonna go look at the formula to see if we're at the right spot?
The
I mean, do we know we're at
130
Goldilocks?
stupid and conservative. So what I'm saying is.
What are the others doing? I mean, other counties?
They're that percentage or higher.
Or higher, that's
We're
what
still like
I mean, are we high
Times
enough?
1.3.
Let me say it, are we high enough?
We might not be.
That's where I'm at, right there.
Yes, times 1.3.
Do you see? That's where I'm at. Are we high
I
enough?
wouldn't go any higher because you're going from a 4 to a 6, so a lot of stuff, that's a 50% increase.
Well, we
Got
talked
it.
about doing an
Be
ad hoc.
conservative, let's do 130 just to be.
I'd like to know, like, this is a piece of a three-piece calculation. So what is this making a difference? If I'm
makes a
building, if
difference
it's
on
a $100
everything.
difference? If I come in, is it 100,
It
is it
makes-
1,000, is it 10? I have no idea.
It makes everything 50% but more except for pools, so. And Marshall, if you go to Marshall's office, he can give you the fee structure, or we can have, we may even have it back in our revenue sheet, but I don't know if you want to go into.
No, maybe some other time, but I'm just saying, I
That
have
linked
no
revenue sheet will
idea.
have those calculations over there.
So-
I don't know if we want to go that far back right now.
All right, so we've handled this one, now let's go to their personnel.
Jimmy, tell you what Marshall's,
Yeah, I just wanna do the same thing, just get a market check on all these guys.
and Marshall's been here for how many years? About
10.
10? Okay. Seems like he just came the other day. Quite a while.
Came same time I did, yeah.
Got white hair? Got white hair. Mine's-
Yeah,
mine's-
they were all at the same time, they were talking about it one day.
I found him earlier, I've lost him.
Yeah, but I hadn't had the same ones. But I'll send my guys to you.
On page 7. What was that far back?
He's toward the end.
Okay.
But I thought with building and code, y'all did promise me more time, didn't y'all? Like yesterday, y'all did promise me more time with building and codes. I'm almost positive y'all did.
Oh, we're there, we're working on it.
So tell me I find this sheet here, you'll be.
Questions, I say no lies.
I know, tell me no lies, that's all it's got going on around here.
It's called codes is why we're not finding it. The codes director, the start pay,
Where's
median
what
start
page?
pay, it's on page number 3 at the bottom, the first number under the dark blue line. The start pay median is 108,566. The maximum is 141,181, so he should be somewhere probably north of 108.
He's at 118.
Because, you know, you're looking around the 10-year mark, plus it's a year old, so.
I mean, what line is he at?
Line.
Oh, I see.
the first dark blue line under the
So,
bottom.
what year is he, when is he, where's he?
He's a 10-year, so he should be somewhere north of 108,566.
So
Yeah, but
it's-
I mean, I think you could probably drop that to 10,000.
I think so too.
Yeah, and still be in there.
Yes.
They have your
By 10 or
combination
210.
inspectors,
210.
they have your combination inspectors is what those mostly would be. Their median for, you know, the first, say, 10 years is somewhere around 61.5.
So they're,
How many's he got?
So yours should be around somewhere below
He
10.
has
Well, and I'm
four
currently-
currently. He's asking for two more.
Oh, he's asking, he's got
I
two
say
and he
we-
needs
He wants two
two?
more.
He's asking for, he has four.
Oh, yes, we want six.
I'm not okay with.
I would be,
people this year.
I mean, everybody has said that if given the choice, you take care of your existing folks first. I'm looking at these guys are pretty, a little high maybe even, but at least close to in line. I mean, I think we could probably give a little haircut there. That one, codes inspector, that one's probably 2,500. This guy is probably 5,000. That gets into about 63. That's about right, because I'm comparing him to a combination inspector. And I mean, this is all, I mean, these are all like, and he just got here. These guys have been here a little longer. I think that's 2,500, and these are both 5,000.
Was that, where's that, the first one, that voting codes inspector one, is that at market or is it above?
Are we?
I mean, right now they're above.
We
I'm
leave
cutting
it out to
I'm cutting them
people.
down to get them to market. I'm reducing the amount.
I don't know, I needed another 2 hours
get
with
them to
Marshall,
market.
but they promised me, but
So if
they
you
finished
do-
now.
Yeah, and then that one is, those are 5,000 each. I think this is gonna be closer.
There was a presentation yesterday in a big packet.
Now, the next one after that one,
Hold on, I want to check this again one more time. I mean, this guy, he's right on there. He's a little more, this is much closer, I think.
now the one at 75 is actually, if you want to use our deputy building commissioner.
I think
Is
we
that the
need to
one who
put
was
that
here
one
with
back
him
up to
yesterday?
Yeah,
10.
that's,
Yeah,
he
he's-
starts 81.
He's a little higher. Bring that one back up to 10.
That one's 81.4, how long's he been here?
9.
9
Oh,
years.
That's about right. Bring him to, yeah, that's about right. So, I mean,
How much?
I can't remember why he said he needed new positions. I really filed it
One of
way
them, he's
into.
not doing all the inspections he feels are necessary
Right.
for your, what's it called, auxiliary
Structure,
structures? Your
the-
auxiliary
yeah,
structures.
Accessory.
What is the difference? in
Accessory
revenue
structures.
From increasing that formula, the MBA formula, what's that?
Let's go back over there, I can give you
Well, that's a
this.
good-
Well, I don't know, I asked,
So let's
but
look.
oh, it's about 400,000 bucks.
Click back over it on the revenues, Bethany, if you don't care. We can kind of guess what we're
He also sent an email about that.
So that's
About
130%.
about 400,000 bucks.
So if we divide that by 1.3, it'll bring us.
That's your
What is
estimate
it?
for next year?
1274, 806.
806 divided by 1.3. The original was 980, I had in there 986.20.
Okay, so that's a little 300,000, not
1274,
That's your projected.
806. You picked up about $294,000.
About 300. So, I mean, let's pick up one.
I'm okay with one.
Let's pick up one. Pick up one.
I'm okay with it.
Yep, that one's these out.
I think I'd still like to go back to Marshall and see what we're giving up. Cause he said electrical,
I mean,
No, he's not
Yeah.
doing electrical, it's a whole new thing.
it's a whole,
You would
it's
have
not the
fees and
outbuildings
people.
person? No.
What
It's not
about,
electrical.
what about
Was
the-
this
the
about-
electrical, you have to worry about the state, we need more people, we need several people, and there's a whole big thing, yeah.
That's like.
The only thing I can say is.
Same
there's
here, and
complaints
these
about
guys are pretty
get
close to where, I mean, they're pretty close to where the other admins are.
honestly.
Probably the same price.
Right, I mean, that's close to where we
That's
just
all
put John's
cost.
admin assistant. I mean, who's been there for, equivalent amount of time. I mean, I know that's a big bump, but I'm trying to be internally consistent. I mean, you might go to 8,000, I think we had his at like, you might turn that to 8,000, but it's close. I know that's big, but
Well, I mean,
we're trying to be internally consistent and consistent
We
to
s-
market.
Right now,
Which one are we on?
This admin assistant.
You tell me?
So that one right there, he or she's at almost 64. I think we got John's up to 61. I know that these are not perfect, exact like for like, but we're trying to be internally
She's
consistent.
at 57.
Well, she's at 57.
We can come back then.
She hadn't been here nearly as long though.
the ideal thing would be to pull all the admins out and put them on one
Yeah,
file
she's-
together
she's
and,
the one
and
that
do
voted.
that across everything. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
That was
And we
the
have
one that
plenty of
moved.
time.
You can't compare administrative assistants in different departments, I mean, it's different, like, that's why they're broken down in
Well,
different departments.
You
Well,
may
but we're
not-
comparing it against
you may not
benchmarks here.
can-
We
It's
have
not
to-
the same, you have to do surveys, that's not a good.
Yeah, you're getting back down to probably.
But
survey
when you
level.
go and you look at them,
That's my opinion.
I know it's your opinion, but when you go to look at them, you might see that the one that you think is doing a lot more is getting paid a lot less.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not apples to apples, but you'll see where the oranges pop out.
I think.
If you at least look at them.
I think that one could come down 2,000, like 7,500, honestly.
Yeah.
The other one looks probably about right. That looks about, I'm looking at executive assistant right here, 51, right at the median start, 51.6, or 51.627. It's like real close for somebody who's, just started. Pretty close. Okay, do we want to what about this position right here?
Same position.
That's the
What is-
one
what is
because he's
AFT?
taking the.
Yeah, what is
cities
AFT? Anybody know?
Adequate facilities tax. He's saying he needs help with the adequate facilities tax of the cities.
Oh, that's right, that's
Make
right.
sure
I
it's being
kinda
paid
believe-
properly.
I believe that one,
Well, we're starting to capture.
and we're starting to capture it.
But that's
This
going
is,
towards-
this is
Okay,
probably
you
a
do
net benefit.
Yeah, well,
We just can't charge it to the fee, man.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying that work is work that's going to generate us.
that's his $44,000.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with that position.
Yeah.
I'll vote good.
All right, so anybody have a nay on this one? And we're clear on what this is. So cities are not, we have discovered that cities were not charging all the adequate facilities tax, and we're like, oh, okay, so we need to get that, and they're like, well, you guys need to figure it out, thus this position.
Right.
So they're gonna go hunting for us new revenue, and that new revenue could be on the order of a couple.
We'll also
million
be able to
dollars a year.
hopefully hope there are some people who build things and they write them down as a renovation when it's a new construction, and a line about it to avoid paying adequate.
Yeah.
I can say
That
about.
happens in some of our cities.
Yeah, no, I mean, but this is, look, that, nobody owns that, and it's good to have
My
somebody.
point
own
is,
it.
people, they are lying about permits reform.
Yeah, I'm good with
If
that.
I'm not mistaken, and you can ask Marshall, about 3 years ago, they caught a couple of hotels that were built here not paying adequate facilities tax. We went back and recaptured, which we were a lot of money. And, because they do have
There's a lot of homes that mean.
they do have a audit procedure up in the office, but I think you want to.
Do we want to go to operational costs on this one? I know, I'm just trying to hop us along here.
For building and
For
code.
building and codes.
It's an additional 24,200.
What's that 24,000 for?
Of various.
This is just all, let's just scroll down and see what numbers jump out at us. Anything, nothing big. Just a small thing.
How their maintenance agreements go up so much?
Fine furniture.
You know how their maintenance
Yeah,
agreements?
furniture and fixtures.
Is that 112? Is that what they were? I'm a building
Do
code.
y'all want to get through this one and go with a 5-minute break? Or do we want to keep motion?
I just took a break.
All right, well, then we'll, hey, do we
I
wanna
could
get
take
through
a
this
mental
and-
break.
And do we want to get through this, we'll take a 5-minute break, or do we want to keep motion?
I probably think you need to take a break.
Well, that's all right, let's get through this one and do a 5-minute break. All right, I don't see anything that jumps out at me on this,
So when
that
I
I could
go
like.
here and I still want to go and look at these together, if I take the
That might be
police
for the new
departments,
staff,
their
if that's what he,
receptionist.
if
And then I
he's
know
banking on having new
there's
staff,
there's
that
more
might be
salary,
what
because
that's
these
Was
two
it
told me.
furniture? Yeah.
And then over here, I got
I mean, if that's what that's
this plus
for,
that, and
that's probably what
that's
that's
only
for,
be
if he's
what-
banking on all that
That
stuff.
would be what it's related.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
we've gone through all of these receipts.
that's probably what all those increases are.
What's gonna come down is we're only doing.
We really need to.
So you're saying
follow
that's the same person?
It's the same person.
Yes, first.
Is this receptionist that plus that?
Are we done?
We're done on this one.
Yes.
Green, this one, 5-minute break.
So see, that's another admin that's making 58,000.